And for years, there have been no real answers to other threats, either chemical weapons and famine used as a weapon. Last year, at this assembly, I warned the world about the risk of radiation disasters, especially due to Russia's occupations of our Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, the biggest in Europe, but nothing's changed. Nothing's. And yesterday, the plant went into blackout again, and Russia hasn't stopped shelling even in areas near a nuclear facility. And because of international institutions are too weak, this madness continues. Even being part of a long-standing military alliance doesn't automatically mean you are safe. Just recently, 19 simple Russian drones violated Polish airspace, and only 4 were shut down. Luckily, they were not shaheeds or even worse. Otherwise, the results would have been horrific. Estonia had to call a UN Security Council meeting for the first time in history because Russian fighter jets deliberately entered its airspace. Moldova is defending itself again from Russia's interference. We are helping Moldova, and Russia's trying to do to Moldova what Iran once did to Lebanon. And the global response, again, not enough. We have already lost Georgia in Europe. Human rights and the European nature of the state system are only shrinking there. Georgia is dependent on Russia. And for many, many years, Belarus has also been moving toward dependence on Russia. Europe cannot afford to lose Moldova too. It's important to remember how the world once ignored the need to help Georgia after Russia's attack, and how the moment was missed with Belarus. How Moldova must not be lost. And for Europe, supporting Moldova's stability is not costly, but failing to do so will come at a much higher price. That's why the EU needs to help Moldova now with funding and energy support, not just words or political gestures. We must not forget about protecting the rights of people and the rights of nations in regions where these rights are under threat. The UN Charter and the Universal Declaration of Human Rights must apply everywhere. But the Taliban in Afghanistan dragged a whole country back into the dark ages. Cartels in some Latin America countries are more powerful than the government there. This is all about collapse of international law and the weakness of the international institutions. And so it's about the rise of weapons. Weapons decide who survives. Excellencies, yesterday President Trump stood right here in this hall, and God saved him from a murder attempt during the campaign. A shot was fired from a rifle, and just a fraction of an inch saved his life. Just days ago, President, along with hundreds of thousands of Americans, honored the memory of Charlie Kirk. Sadly, his life was cut short by a bullet. Once again, violence with a rifle in hand. We also mourn the Ukrainian woman, Irina Zarutska. She was brutally killed with a knife here in America, the very country where she was seeking refuge from Russia's war. And almost every day when we open the news, we see headlines about violent attacks happening all around the world. Most of it is done with weapons. People are already used to, but weapons are evolving faster than our ability to defend ourselves. Now, there are tens of thousands of people who know how to professionally kill using drones. Stopping that kind of attack is harder than stopping any gun, knife, or bomb. This is what Russia has brought with its war. It used to be that only the strongest countries could use drones because they were expensive and complex. Now even simple drones can fly thousands of kilometers. War tech doesn't care about geography anymore. It's now reshaping it. Just recently, airports in Europe had to shut down because of drones. Authorities couldn't even say what kind of drones they were, who sent them, or from where. Last week, North Korea announced the test of a tactical strike drone. That means even countries with limited resources can now build weapons that are dangerous to their neighbors. Ukraine and nations like Saudi Arabia know all too well how dangerous Iranian attack drones are. But what happens when all the types of drones become available, even to small terrorist groups or cartels? The world moves too slowly to protect itself, and weapons move fast. Now companies are already working on drones that can shoot down other drones, and it's only a matter of time, not much, before drones are fighting drones, attacking critical infrastructure and targeting people all by themselves, fully autonomous and no human involved except the few who control AI systems. Dear leaders, we are now living through the most destructive arms race in human history, because this time includes artificial intelligence. And if there are no real security guarantees except friends and weapons, and if the world can't respond even to old threats, and if there is no strong platform for international security, will there be any place left on earth that's still safe for people? We need global rules now for how AI can be used in weapons, and this is just as urgent as preventing the spread of nuclear weapons. We need to restore international cooperation, real working cooperation for peace and for security. A few years from now might already be too late. 10 years ago, war looked different, and no one imagined that cheap drones could create dead zones, areas stretching for dozens of kilometers where nothing moves, no vehicles, no life. People used to imagine that only after a nuclear strike. Now it's drawn reality. Mass-produced, simple drones, and without AI yet. Ukraine doesn't have the big fat missiles dictators love to show off in parades, but we do have drones that can fly up to 2,000-3,000 kilometers. We had no choice but to build them to protect our right to life. Control over the sea used to depend on having a big navy. Ukraine doesn't have a big fleet, but we succeeded. In the Black Sea, we pushed what's left of the Russian navy into remote base. And we did it with sea drones. That's how we protect our ports and maritime trade routes, because Russia has left us no other choice. And our spiderweb operation, when cheap drones destroyed or damaged dozens of expensive Russian strategic bombers, became a real example for special forces around the world of what new weapons can do to old systems. These very Russian bombers attacked our cities. And none of this would have happened if Putin had not started this full-scale aggression, full-scale war. And every year that this war goes on, weapons become even more deadly. And only Russia deserves to be blamed for this. Dear leaders, to protect lives, Ukraine builds underground schools and underground hospitals. To protect lives, we have to spend more on protecting power stations from drone and missile attacks than on building sports facilities or cultural infrastructure. Ukrainian farmers are learning how to protect their equipment from Russia's FPV drone strikes, and for them that challenge is far greater than climate change. Russia's war has put us in this situation, but do you have protection against similar threats? The facts are simple. Stopping this war now, and with it, the global arms race, is cheaper than building underground kindergartens or massive bunkers for critical infrastructure later. Stopping Putin now is cheaper than trying to protect every port and every ship from terrorists with sea drones. Stopping Russia now is cheaper than wondering who will be the first to create a simple drone carrying a nuclear warhead. So we must use everything we have together to force the aggressor to stop. And only then do we have a real chance that this arms race will not end in catastrophe for all of us. If it takes weapons to do it, if it takes pressure on Russia, then it must be done. And it must be done now. Otherwise, Putin will keep driving the war forward wider and deeper. And we told you before, we are now building a new security architecture for ourselves. More than 30 countries are already part of our coalition, and we are strengthening army, launching joint weapons production with partners, and defining financial commitments for defense in a way that could become a security model for any other nation. If security guarantees work for Ukraine, something more than just friends and weapons, it will mean that people were able to make national security not a privilege for a few nations, but a right for everyone. Second, we are ready to make our modern weapons become your modern security, your modern weapon. And we have decided to open up arms exports. And these are powerful systems tested in a real war when every international institution failed. And we are also ready to grow our defense production together with strong partners so that their protection is modern and reliable. You don't need to start this race from scratch. We are ready to share what has already proven itself in real defense. And third, many in the world are still relaxed. Still. But look at how many countries are here at this General Assembly. Countries that are at war, or just came out of war, or are trying to stop one, or openly getting ready for one. War has already reached too many people to pretend it has nothing to do with you. So it depends on you. Whether you help peace or continue trading with Russia and helping Russia to fund this war, it depends on you. Whether prisoners of war will be freed, whether abducted children will come home, whether hostages will be free. It depends on you what will define existence, war like now or our joint strong actions as it should be. Yesterday we had a good meeting with President Trump, and I also spoke with many other strong leaders, and together we can change a lot. Of course, we are doing everything to make sure Europe truly helps. And of course, we count on the United States. I appreciate the support we are receiving. Yes, much depends on the G7 and G20, but in the end, peace depends on all of us, on the United Nations. So don't stay silent while Russia keeps dragging this war on. Please speak out and condemn it. Please join us in defending life and international law and order. People are waiting for action. Thank you so much. Slava Ukraini.
Au nom de l'Assemblée générale.
On behalf of the General Assembly, I wish to thank the President of Ukraine.
L'Assemblée va
The Assembly will hear an address by His Serene Highness, Prince Albert II, Sovereign Prince of Monaco. I request protocol to escort His Serene Highness and invite him to address the Assembly.
Madame la Présidente de la
Madam President of the General Assembly, Secretary General, ladies and gentlemen, heads of state and government, excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. 80 years ago, the creation of the United Nations marked a decisive turning point in contemporary history in international relations, offering each state a forum for dialogue and exchange. The ambition of the founders was clear and bold. All nations, large and small, need to be able to participate on equal footing in crafting collective solutions, equality, respect, dialogue. This is the heart of the multilateral spirit and underpinning the values where Monaco found its place within the concert of nations. Over these past 8 decades, the United Nations has supported and ushered in major turning points: the reconstruction of Europe after the Second World War, the process of decolonization, the hope of an international order that is more peaceful after the Cold War. The organization contributed to the establishment of robust international law, the adoption of numerous treaties, law of the sea, counter-terrorism treaties, protection of the environment, the promotion of human rights. Monaco ratified more than 270 of these treaties, which, beyond their symbolic dimension, govern the day-to-day lives of our population. The UN also played a key role in the maintenance of international peace and security. On all continents, these operations help to prevent conflict and to support democratic transitions. International justice, specifically through the judgments rendered by the International Criminal Tribunals, have been significant sources of progress in combating impunity for the gravest crimes, and the International Court of Justice remains a pillar when it comes to peaceful resolution of disputes. The United Nations has been a pioneer in ecological awareness, raising the protection of our planet, mobilizing governments, scientists, civil society to put together concerted strategies, and these are issues which are of tremendous importance to us. The UN has shed light on the role of sports as a vector for peace, for inclusion, for development. Principally, he welcomes the fact that sport is increasingly taking pride of place in the work of the organization. Madam President, we are cognizant of the progress that has been made over the past 8 decades, and yet we have more challenges to surmount, which requires resolute collective action. The progress that we have made is significant, but we have a grim reality. We are in a multipolar world where respect for international law and human rights. In this regard, the Principality of Monaco firmly condemns the war of aggression targeting Ukraine and the suffering this has inflicted upon civilian populations, and I reiterated this message just now to President Zelensky. I cherish the hope that a just and lasting negotiated peace agreement can be found soon to guarantee security and to rise to the expectations of the Ukrainian people. In the Middle East, violence has generated unacceptable human suffering, casualties, the risk of regional conflict.
पर मिल रही है कमाल की डील्स। वैसे लोगे तो आप ढूंढे ही, चाहे दिल की सुनो या डील्स की।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरी राजा।
I choose a world where we dream, and the limit is the sky. And this world is my home where I'm living my best.
Mindfully crafted home decor fabrics. Sansar, a D-Decor brand. Live consciously.
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला।
साथियों, हम नागरिक देवो भवः, नागरिक देवो भवः के जिस मंत्र के साथ आगे बढ़ रहे हैं, नेक्स्ट जनरेशन जीएसटी रिफॉर्म में इसकी साफ झलक दिखाई देती है। अगर हम इनकम टैक्स में छूट और जीएसटी में छूट को जोड़ दें तो एक साल में जो निर्णय हुए हैं उससे देश के लोगों को 2.5 लाख करोड़ रुपए से ज्यादा की बचत होगी। और तभी तो मैं कह रहा हूं ये बचत उत्सव है। साथियों, विकसित भारत के लक्ष्य तक पहुंचने के लिए हमें आत्मनिर्भरता के रास्ते पर चलना ही होगा और भारत को आत्मनिर्भर बनाने का बहुत बड़ा दायित्व हमारे एमएसएमईज यानी
What a beauty. The X47, completely imagined, designed and made in India.
Co-powered by Century Ply Club Prime. रहो बेफिक्र।
पैसा लगाना है तो सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम पे लगाओ। डूबेगा नहीं, जलेगा भी नहीं, कोई खा नहीं जाएगा, धोखा नहीं देगा, ऊपर नीचे भी नहीं होगा, सेफ रहेगा, सिक्योर्ड में मिनिमम 30 साल का रिटर्न देगा। अब इससे बेटर इन्वेस्टमेंट है तो बताओ। सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम, रहो बेफिक्र।
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
त्योहार की खुशियां होंगी डबल। हुंडई सुपर डिलाइट डेज में आपकी मनपसंद कार्स पर मिल रही है कमाल के डील्स। वैसे लोगे तो आप हुंडई, चाहे दिल की सुनो या डील्स की।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो, मिलाओ और खाओ।
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सब का राजा, आर प्योर मसाला।
इसको घर पे लगाओगे तो शादी का तो पता नहीं, पर घर पक्का नहीं टूटेगा।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील टीएमटी बार एकदम सॉलिड।
पहाड़ों में एक हाइकिंग शिप भी बन सकती है।
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल। ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े। क्या निराला MDH मसाला।
कल यानी नवरात्रि के प्रथम दिवस 22 सितंबर को सूर्योदय के साथ ही नेक्स्ट जनरेशन जीएसटी रिफॉर्म्स लागू हो जाएंगे। एक तरह से कल से देश में जीएसटी बचत उत्सव शुरू होने जा रहा है। इस जीएसटी बचत उत्सव में आपकी बचत बढ़ेगी और आप अपनी पसंद की चीजों को और ज्यादा आसानी से खरीद पाएंगे। नए स्वरूप में मुख्य रूप से अब सिर्फ 5% और 18% के ही टैक्स स्लैब रहेंगे। इसका मतलब है रोजमर्रा के इस्तेमाल की ज्यादातर चीजें और सस्ती हो जाएगी। खाने पीने का सामान, दवाइयां, साबुन, ब्रश, पेस्ट, स्वास्थ्य और जीवन बीमा, ऐसे अनेकों सामान, अनेकों सेवाएं या तो टैक्स फ्री होगी या फिर केवल 5% टैक्स देना होगा। जीएसटी कम होने से अब देश के नागरिकों के लिए अपने सपने पूरे करना और आसान होगा। घर बनाना, टीवी, फ्रिज खरीदने की बात हो, स्कूटर, बाइक, कार खरीदना हो, ये सब पर अब कम खर्च करना होगा। आपके लिए घूमना फिरना भी सस्ता हो जाएगा, क्योंकि ज्यादातर होटल्स के कमरों पर भी जीएसटी कम कर दिया गया है। हम नागरिक देवो भवः, नागरिक देवो भवः के जिस मंत्र के साथ आगे बढ़ रहे हैं, नेक्स्ट जनरेशन जीएसटी रिफॉर्म में इसकी साफ झलक दिखाई देती है। अगर हम इनकम टैक्स में छूट और जीएसटी में छूट को जोड़ दें, तो एक साल में जो निर्णय हुए हैं, उससे देश के लोगों को 2.5 लाख करोड़ रुपए से ज्यादा की बचत होगी। और तभी तो मैं कह रहा हूं, ये बचत उत्सव है। साथियों, विकसित भारत के लक्ष्य तक पहुंचने के लिए हमें आत्मनिर्भरता के रास्ते पर चलना ही होगा। साथियों, हम नागरिक देवो भवः, नागरिक देवो भवः के जिस मंत्र के साथ आगे बढ़ रहे हैं, नेक्स्ट जनरेशन जीएसटी रिफॉर्म में इसकी साफ झलक दिखाई देती है। अगर हम
From your smartphones to your smart television, the trending stories are always breaking the internet. And tonight we kick off with the global headlines as former President Donald Trump doubles down on his criticism of India, accusing it of being the primary funder of Russia's war in Ukraine, and the pushback has been swift from the leaders in Europe and in Kiev. Yes, we're talking about Zelensky. We also have the emotional return of late-night host Jimmey Kimmel navigating controversy, critics and heartfelt moments on his comeback show. Meanwhile, social media is abuzz with apocalyptic prophecies from South Africa. Alia Bhatt's striking black outfit at Milan Fashion Week and a jaw-dropping twist in the Coldplay concert couple drama is all that we have lined up for you and more in this edition of Trending. I am Rakshita Mishra. Let's get started. So, President Donald Trump of the United States has doubled down on his attacks on India, once again accusing it of being a primary funder of Russia's war. Listen into what he said.
China and India are the primary funders of the ongoing war by continuing to purchase Russian oil. But inexcusably, even NATO countries have not cut off much Russian energy and Russian energy products, which, as you know, I found out about 2 weeks ago, and I wasn't happy. Think of it. They're funding the war.
And viewers, you just heard him making unfounded claims again, and now the pushback on this has been swift and sharp. In Europe, Finland's President Alexander Stubb broke ranks, refusing to lump India in with Russia or China. He urged a more cooperative, dignified foreign policy, warning the US that if the West alienates the global South, it risks losing influence. He warned that ignoring India could allow the China-Russia-led SCO bloc to gain the upper hand. Stubb emphasizes India's growing strategic importance, calling for stronger alliances with countries in the global South and multilateral cooperation to maintain global balance. So from Kiev, President Volodymyr Zelensky has directly contradicted a former president, contested Donald Trump, the US president's claim about India. Zelensky says that India is mostly on Ukraine's side, though there are some energy-related concerns. He remains confident that these issues can be managed and stresses the importance of maintaining strong ties with India for both Ukraine and Europe. So there you clearly can see that Zelensky knows the importance of India and does not really pay heed to what Trump is really saying. And of course highlights how India has also been appreciated by Trump just recently. But of course Trump is always known for taking U-turns. Viewers, now we shift our focus to the other trending story. Late night host Jimmey Kimmel made an emotional return to television after a week-long suspension sparked by controversy. Opening his show amid a loud applause, Kimmel delivered a heartfelt monologue addressing the shooting of Donald Trump and his aide, Charlie Kirk. Fighting back tears, he said that Trump tried his best to cancel him but clarified that he never intended to make light of Kirk's killing. The comedian mixed emotions with his trademark sarcasm as he took on critics in his comeback.
I don't think there's anything funny about it. I posted a message on Instagram on the day he was killed, sending love to his family and asking for compassion, and I meant it, and I still do. Nor was it my intention to blame any specific group for the actions of what it was obviously a deeply disturbed individual. That was really the opposite of the point I was trying to make, but I understand that to some that felt either ill-timed or unclear, or maybe both. And for those who think I did point a finger, I get why you're upset. If the situation was reversed, there's a good chance I'd have felt the same way.
Now, his comeback to television, viewers, has been garnering a lot of reactions. It sparked, in fact, a flurry of reactions online. Many viewers applauded his resilience and expressed relief at seeing him back on air. Others criticized his remarks on Trump and Kirk, calling them insensitive. Social media remains sharply divided. Supporters celebrated his emotional return, praising his honesty and welcoming him back to the late-night stage. And at the same time, critics condemned some of his jokes, particularly those touching on sensitive topics, saying that they were in poor taste. Famous American actor and screenwriter Glenn Powell made an appearance on Jimmey Kimmel's show for his first episode back after last week's suspension. And Powell, known for his work in Hollywood, was the first guest to grace the comeback show, adding star power to the much anticipated return. Fans have welcomed his return with enthusiasm with their social media comments. The reactions are running on your screens right now. Meanwhile, US President Donald Trump has criticized ABC for bringing back Kimmel after last week's suspension. In a post on social media platform Truth Social, Trump called the network fake news and suggested that he might take action against ABC over the late-night host's return. Watch the reactions that is coming in. And now a quick look at the trends that are running hot on the internet today. Alia Bhatt brought her A game to the Gucci showcase at the Milan Fashion Week. The actor, who's the Gucci global brand ambassador, extended the exclusive film screening of The Tiger, a cinematic spectacle that showcased Gucci creative director Demna's first collection for the Italian luxury fashion house. For the special event, Alia Bhatt wore an all-black ensemble from Gucci's latest La Famiglia collection. 8 masked men broke into 2 houses in Telangana's Khammam while the families were away for Dussehra. CCTV cameras caught them forcing their way in and fleeing with valuables. Police say an investigation is underway and are asking the residents to stay alert and secure their homes during the festive season. Celebrity hairstylist Javed Habib and his son Anas are in trouble. Police have filed a fraud case against them for allegedly cheating over 150 people with cryptocurrency promises. Investors say they were allured with their returns of up to 75% to a company called Polysil Global. But once the money came in, the company shut down and the Habibs disappeared. Joyful event took a tragic turn during a Ram Leela performance in Chamba when 73-year-old Amaresh Mahajan, who played King Dashrath for 2 decades, collapsed on stage from a heart attack. At first, the audience thought it was part of an act, but soon organizers realized it was real. He passed away mid-performance, leaving the community shocked and mourning. A bold protest artwork. The community was left mourning. And in And some more news, a bold protest artwork is turning heads in Washington. It shows Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein holding hands, smiling and balancing on one leg, right on the National Mall close to the US Capitol. Now, the piece has triggered plenty of debate and outrage from the passerbys. Meanwhile, in Kolkata, a Rolls-Royce Ghost is making waves online. Quite literally, the luxury car was spotted abandoned in floodwaters, tree branches stuck on its roof as the traffic passed by. The video has gone viral, sparking jokes about the ghost and criticism over the city's waterlogging woes. And speaking of floodwaters, northern Italy is underwater after days of relentless rain. Streets and railways turned into rivers, landslides blocked towns, and schools had to be evacuated. Rescue teams are scrambling as hundreds remain trapped in cars and homes. And it does not end with Kolkata or Italy. A major disaster has unfolded in Taiwan's Guangzhou, where a creek landslide lake overflowed. The landslide lake overflowed, washing away the Matayan Bridge and flooding almost all of the Guangzhou township. Reportedly, another peak is expected soon, and everyone is requested to evacuate to the higher grounds immediately. Elon Musk's father, Elon Musk, has been accused of sexually abusing 5 of his children and stepchildren. The 79-year-old has denied the allegations, calling them baseless and claiming family members are trying to target Elon, his son. The case has sparked fresh controversy around the Musk family. While American influencer Ricky Pond is winning hearts again. Known for his dance reels, Pond posted an energetic Navratri performance on the song Dholira. Now his video is going viral, bringing a splash of festive cheer to fans worldwide. An escalator at the United Nations abruptly stopped the moment US President Trump and First Lady Melania Trump stepped on it at UN headquarters in New York. White House has launched an investigation into the matter, raising suspicions of possible sabotage, while UN later clarified that it was due to safety mechanism that was triggered. At the UN General Assembly, President Trump did not hold back, mocking the stalled escalator and a glitchy teleprompter. Made a statement, I quote, "These are the 2 things I got from United Nations." Adding to that, he also said, "I can only say that whoever is operating this teleprompter is in big trouble," leaving the crowd in splits. So he said a bad escalator and a bad teleprompter is what he got from UN. An apocalyptic prophecy from South Africa has gone viral, claiming that the rapture, that's a biblical event said to be when Jesus returns to take true believers to heaven, could happen on the 23rd or 24th of September. Now, millions of Christians around the world have taken to social media to mock this false prediction. But viewers, let's tell you what really is the doomsday or the rapture. Now, rapture is the belief that Jesus will return to take the believers to heaven. Scholars say that predictions like the recent viral claim for September 23rd or 24th are not supported by the Bible itself. The Bible emphasizes that timing of the rapture is something that is unpredictable. In fact, netizens are also calling out for fake prophecy as the rapture prediction goes viral. Social media users have been reacting strongly to the false prophecy. Watch the reactions on your screens. In fact, one user commented, "Anyone who still follows false prophet Joshua Malakela is on their way to hell." Another user says that Joshua is a fear-mongering heretic and quoted Bible verse proving him false. A third user commented that Joshua teachings had misled thousands of believers, while another questioned why would a true Christian believe this skepticism. And time now to take a look at the trends that are running fast on the social media today. Now, you remember, viewers, how a human resource executive was caught getting cozy with a married boss at a Coldplay concert? Well, here's the twist now. Her husband was reportedly at the same concert with his own date. Zubeen Garg's wife, Garima, has vowed to carry forward the legacy of the late singer, announcing that she will resume work on his final film. She described it as a heartfelt duty, emphasizing the importance of honoring his contribution to music and cinema. Fans have praised her commitment, seeing it as a fitting tribute to the beloved artist. In a rare and powerful gesture at the United Nations, Indonesian President Prabowo Subianto closed his speech with the Hindu peace mantra, Om Shanti Shanti Om. He began with a Sanskrit greeting, Om Swastiastu, wishing blessings and protection, and ended by invoking harmony among all religions. Subianto called for interfaith unity and urging Jews, Muslims, Christians, Hindus and Buddhists to live together as one family. And the moment is being targeted as has been called, applauded as inclusive and spiritual, something that carries spiritual resonance.
Forefathers, a journey that we must complete. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Shalom.
A 45-year-old professor from a reputed university in Haryana was booked for allegedly stealing a replica of the famous Mohenjo-daro dancing girl from the National Museum in Lutyens, Delhi. China's Pop Mart, the company behind the viral Labubu toy craze, just faced a reality check at the Wall Street. Its stock price dropped nearly 9% after US giant JP Morgan warned the brand may not keep up with its rapid growth. And here's the kicker. Even though Pop Mart's shares have more than doubled this year, the company has lost about $13 billion in value. Netizens who first jumped onto the Labubu doll trend called it a fever cooling down. And that's all we could pack in this edition of Trending Viewers. We'll be right back with the debate at 8 p.m. Stay tuned.
Co-powered by Century Ply Club Prime. Raho befikar.
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला।
Amity has been ranked among the top universities globally for producing the most employable graduates by the Times Higher Education UK. Yet another testimony to Amity's excellent placement record.
प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार
क्या टेस्ट है सब का राजा आर प्योर मसाला
Last night someone dropped the kapoors. Well, almost. But Cubo AI stopped them with an automatic spotlight and a blaring alarm.
Cubo smart security cameras not just record, it protects.
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
I choose a world where we dream and the limit is the sky and this world is my home where I'm living my best.
Mindfully crafted home decor fabrics. Sansar, a D-Decor brand. Live consciously.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद ये तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा
त्योहार की खुशियाँ होंगी डबल। हुंडई सुपर डिलाइट डेज में आपकी मनपसंद कार्स पर मिल रही है कमाल के डील्स। वैसे लोगे तो आप हुंडई चाहे दिल की सुनो या डील्स की।
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला।
है। साथियों, विकसित भारत के लक्ष्य तक पहुंचने के लिए हमें आत्मनिर्भरता के रास्ते पर चलना ही होगा और भारत को आत्मनिर्भर बनाने का बहुत बड़ा दायित्व हमारे एमएसएमईज यानी हमारे लघु, मध्यम और कुटीर उद्योगों पर भी है, जो देश के लोगों की जरूरत का है, जो हम देश में ही बना सकते हैं, वो हमें देश में ही बनाना चाहिए। साथियों, जीएसटी की दरें कम होने से नियम और प्रक्रियाएं और आसान बनने से हमारे एमएसएमईज, हमारे लघु उद्योगों को, कुटीर उद्योगों को बहुत फायदा होगा।